So what was the reason for you joining the war? Or did you have a choice?
Well, we were, there was four of us. We all had scholarships for football. And we're sitting in the mess. And one day, and we said, I'm tired of school. So we decided, hey, we're going to join the service. So two of us decided to join the Marine Corps and two went to the Navy. And also what you have to realize during that time, it was a draft. When you were 18 years old, you were drafted. They sent out papers and you were drafted. But that was not on my mind. So I joined the Marine Corps because I was tired of school. And I remember going in there, and I don't know if we want to go with this. He says, the recruiter asked me, why are you joining the Marine Corps? And I said, I want to be a hero. He come flying over that desk and grabbed my throat and my shirt and threw me on the table. He says, there's no such thing as hero. You're buddies. And I said, oh. So I never said that again. We graduated boot camp, and everybody was going to Korea except two people, and I was one of them. They sent me to school. So I was on a USS carrier for 18 months, and they come back with orders, and they said, upon your completion of duty here, you are going to IBM school. So again, I go to school. So the reason I joined the Marine Corps didn't work out. I joined school. I would never change what I went through. The Marine Corps to me was the greatest.
So you didn't regret your decision
one bit? No, none whatsoever. I did regret it when I was. You talk about lonely. When you're in boot camp, you're isolated. The Marines, you didn't pogey bait. That's candy or ice cream. You didn't get none of that stuff. You got to write a letter home every night, but the rest of that, you were lonely. All you could hear is taps going at night, and you're thinking, well, why am I here? You want to be at home. So that you were lonely then. But it had nothing to do with regretting, it's just loneliness, because you're away from everybody.
Well, you said that you were lonely. Did you make any friends?
We were all lonely. You really didn't have a buddy system to say in boot camp. Everybody had a job to do, and you did your job. You didn't have a real close buddy.
How did boot camp affect you mentally and physically?
Physically, I thought I was in terrific shape because I had just come, scholarship. I'm going to play football, and what they did to you is they tear you down to build you up. I mean, I could say I do 30 push-ups. They made you do 50. If you want to do a mile in 8 minutes, you did it in 6 minutes. So they just tore you down completely. You would duck walk up on a mountain, and if you ever want to try something, try duck walking up a mountain. You put 75 pounds of sand in your backpack, and you'd run with that. And like I say, you thought you were in shape. You found out you were in terrible shape.
What about mentally?
Mentally was terrible. I remember the first day getting off the bus in San Diego, and we're in line to go eat chow, and they had a platoon. They had their rifles and all this, and the platoon sergeant was inspecting them, and he had pulled a twig out of a grass, out of the piece of straw, out of the ground, and he put it on his nose, and the guy went like that, the twig, and the next thing you know, the guy hit his rifle, his blood comes floating out of his mouth and his nose and all this, and here we are looking at this. We just getting off a bus with clothes. I said, whoa, if we could go home, we're gone. So that was something. And that night, we were in the barracks, and we're going to get assigned a rack and all this, a place to sleep. And the smallest guy I'd ever seen, he was a sergeant, and he come in there and he says, I want to see the two biggest guys in here that think they can take me. And he picked the two biggest guys. He threw one out the window and one down the stairs, that fast. My impression was, what am I doing here? Because it was terror. There was no such thing as you could call somebody and said maltreatment. They beat you to death. I mean, I got beat up so many times. Because my name, from a distance, they would say sick call. Well, it sounds like Sitco. And I'm down, so many barracks is down there. So I run down there and you have to report. And when you report, you got beat up anyways because you were there. I got many times. But there was no, it's not like today. Today they can't touch you, so to speak. But then they could do everything. I mean, I was punched all over the place. But I don't regret any of that. Okay, next question.
What was your ranking, or how did you move up in rank?
Oh, I really went fast. I graduated boot camp, PFC. No, you come out of private. I came out of private first class because I was an expert rifleman and for whatever reason, I came out with that, and my grades were high in the tests. So, but I ended up a Master Gunnery Sergeant, which is the highest rank you can get as enlisted, and I was the senior Master Gunnery Sergeant in the Marine Corps. I made it before, I had 17 years in. Normally it takes 23.
Wow.
I made it with 17. So, I mean, my regrets? None.
Where were you stationed?
Most of the time I was stationed in the Far East. Japan, let's see, I was in Iwakuni, Sasebo, Okinawa 3 times. I was in Korea 3 times. So Marines normally go Far East.
What about Vietnam?
Vietnam was, in fact, our platoon was the first platoon to legally go into Vietnam in March 1965. The funny part was this, it wasn't funny. We had our weapons, but they gave us no ammo. And we were all wondering what, we ain't happy about this. So anyways, we had a convoy going into the jungle. We were on a convoy. The convoy is just a bunch of trucks going one way, and there's a convoy coming back. We were going in, the Army was coming out, and we wanted ammo. So they were throwing us ammo, and we were throwing them sea rations. And so this is a bad story here. We were assigned on Marble Mountain, and you could not fire, you could not shoot at anything unless you had a verifying officer who was an Army lieutenant who verified you were being shot at, that you could shoot back. Well, we lost 3 guys that night before we could even put a bullet in our weapon because we had to prove we were being shot at. And that's the last time that ever happened. But anyways, that was the rules, and they changed that later. But we had our base camp was such and such, and within 50 yards across were Vietnamese village. Well, those people during the day were cleaning our area. Well, they weren't stupid. They were figuring out, okay, how many meters is this place from this place? So at night, when the mortars came in, they knew where to shoot them. And we were dumb. We allowed this to happen. But the other part is that we knew the VC was there, but we could not cross the street. The rules were such that you could not cross this particular street, even though we know that at night we're being shot at, or from there. I mean, this was not a war that we came to win. It was a political war. If they had regardless, Army, Marines, if they had left us alone, we wouldn't have lost who we lost, and we would have won. But